Do you have a Sizzix die cutting machine and you forget which sandwich to use with each brand of 3D embossing folders or embossing folders in general? I do. If you have the same problem as me, please watch this video and I'll show you how I did my quick reference guide on how to use it. I'm going to use a 2D embossing folder as a reference in comparison. And these are almost all of my 3D embossing folders that I have at the moment. Um, I can't really buy new stuff at the moment. I don't know if I told you guys, but I had to leave my job last year because of burnout, and uh, a series of bad things have been happening since then. So I am currently looking for a job or trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. So I'm trying to use whatever I have in my stash. This is my Sizzix. I've had it for 5, 6 years now. And I have one clear plate and one of those magic plates. And this is the platform that comes with it, or that came with my and each plate, each layer will tell you what you use it with. So this one is the one that they recommend for both 2D embossing folders and 3D embossing folders. It's all on this red tab 1. So I am going to use the tab 1. I'm going to add my magic plate. I'm going to use my 2D embossing folder first with a piece of cardstock inside. I love this embossing folder because it's 5x7, which means I can use it with 5x7, A2 US size, A6 European size, and a variety of custom sizes, and probably the mini slimline. So I love the bigger embossing folders because they give me more options. Here's the result. So you just put the acrylic plate, well, 2 plates if you don't have the magic one. And this is the recommended one for a 3D embossing folder, which works with the Sizzix embossing folders. I have these one. There's a partnership with Tim Holtz, designed by Tim Holtz. And I try to put it a little bit in an angle. Just run it through tab 1 with that one plate. Only one plate, you don't need the second one. And you get beautiful results. I didn't spray any of my cardstock, folks. This one is only for A2 size, American A2 size. And then for the spellbinders, I love these ones because these ones you can actually run half a letter size page. Here I'm using vellum. This vellum is by Simon Says Stamp. And I'm gonna run half a page, and I can use it as a card base for my card. I love this one. This one is my favorite one. Lately, I have been buying more spellbinders, embossing folders than any other brand. So this one was a little bit hard to put it through because the plate is actually the same size of the embossing folder. But it ran beautifully and it came out perfect. This one, you can see that I'm using tab 2. That is the top tab. On top of that, tab 3. This one from Altenew, it's exactly the same thickness, so it's the same sandwich. You only use one plate, your embossing folder with the paper, and tab 2. And none of these is actually written properly on the base. So the base only tells you to use tab 1, and these 2 brands, Altenew and Spellbinders, you actually use tab 2. And the last one is from Simon Says Stamp. And the sandwich is exactly the same that we use for the Sizzix. So it's the sandwich that is recommended by the die cutting machine. And it's tab 1, the red tab, with your cardstock and your embossing folder, and only one plate, one acrylic plate. So you actually have 3 options between these 5 different brands that I'm using. and I try to group them together so it makes it easier for you. Of course, if you're using a different brand, you're going to have to try and figure out what the sandwich is. But I think these give you a general idea. So what I did was I wrote everything down, all the sandwich combinations on a post-it, and then I stuck that post-it to the side of my die cutting machine. But you can actually stick it to anything that's in front of you, or to the container where you keep your 3D embossing folders. So whenever you need to use it, it's very easy to see, very accessible, and you can always consult it. But I'm gonna add a slide here at the end with all the information for you, and you can slow down, copy it, or print it and use it however you want. I just want to take a second to mention that I've recently reached 10 subscribers. And I am so happy that you folks are here, that you're following me. And I feel absolutely honored. I know some of you are friends, so you might feel a bit uh, obligated to do this. But I really thank you. I really appreciate you. And I started this after I left my job because I thought it would be something nice to like fill my time with. And you guys make my day every day. Okay, so here I have a 2D embossing folder. I have two of those Spellbinder and Outer New embossing folders. I don't know if you can really see the thickness on the screen, but you can tell that Spellbinders and Outer New have the same thickness, but they are thicker than the 2D. And then I have one from Sizzix, one from Simon, also for comparison, and they are way thicker than all of them. So the slimmest one is the 2D, and then the intermediate ones are Spellbinders and Outer New, and Sizzix and Simon are the thickest ones. They are almost the double of the 2D one. I am grouping them this way because if you have a different machine and you still want to try to figure out and test it and do your own reference guide, you can do that, and you don't need to test those four because you know that 2 and 2 have the same thickness. I wrote everything for you in order. So the 2Ds are the slimmest ones. Alternate Spellbinders are that intermediate thickness. And Simon Says Stamp and Sizzix are the thickest ones that I have. I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you liked it. And feel free to come back and check it out if you need to, but otherwise just write it down and leave it somewhere that it's easy to come back to. Thank you. Bye.